What did you think of the standard of play over here? This is always an interesting question for me because I always wonder what the Americans do think when they come over and then they actually play in the league, what they actually think of the standard.
Yeah, I guess it's on the same level. I think with the AA back home. I played in the East Coast Hockey League, Central Hockey League, the International Hockey League, every AA league back home, and I think it's just a different style of play a little bit more. Like I said, back home it's a little more structured. With Basingstoke, I guess there's a little bias because we didn't have video breakdown. We didn't have, certain aspects of the game that I saw back home. Back home was so much more tactical, so much more structured. The professionalism it's off the charts compared to here. But the level of play, I think, the Brits, everyone says the Brits kind of, should we have more imports? Should we have less imports? I thought, they impressed me. There's a lot of guys around the league. I was sad at the playoff weekend this weekend. Watched Mark Richardson, a player for us, play for Nottingham. I thought he was one of the better defensemen on the ice. So, I think the level of play, it's just a little different over here. We like to play a little run and gun, which, I don't know how we could do with the team we had on the ice, but I think maybe it's just because we were out of the playoffs too a little bit. There wasn't as much checking. It was more of a Sunday skate. Back home, it's pretty intense coming down the stretch, and I guess you see that with any team that's really not in the playoffs. So.
What about the structure of the league? Let's look at the Elite League as a whole. I don't want to burn any bridges for you, but obviously, looking forward to next year, the plans that are sort of being muted by this league is it's going to be 6 teams, and obviously this is something the IHL definitely has back home. They have 6 teams in the league. Do you think it could work in this country or not?
Yeah, with the 6 teams that they have, whether it be 8, 6, I've even heard 4. There's so many rumors flowing around this weekend, but I think it could. It's just up to the fans. The fans, would they want to see the same team in the building every other weekend? Maybe, maybe not. I don't know. The teams that they have, the top 6 that they have are, financially pretty stable. I would think that they'd be able to make it work no matter what happens, at least see it through a year, then look into other options of expanding. I think, the league from the whole, I just wish certain things would have been handled different ways when, money's coming in from fans to Thomas, and the owner of Cardiff kicks in $20,000, and the league knows that Thomas is in trouble. Why don't they take the money and allocate it where it needs to go? It's beyond me, but the league, I think no matter what happens, I think they will make it work. It is a good league. I think the teams, the Sheffields and Nottinghams, the teams that have big crowds, they're obviously gonna be around no matter what. The teams that that are kind of question marks right now with Manchester, Newcastle, Edinburgh, obviously we're gone. Hull doesn't get a lot of fans. I don't know. It'll be interesting to see. I would think it has to come out sooner than later so they can get tickets sold and schedule set. So where that seems to go, I don't know, but it'll be interesting to see definitely what happens.
Well, let's look forward to yourself for next year. And have you got any plans for next year at the moment? Or is it all up in the air?
Nothing yet. I talked to a few people this past weekend at the playoff weekend. It's tough. Without knowing the future of the league, you never know what's going to happen. With the year I had, it's pretty embarrassing to me, honestly. But I think I'd probably be back in this league for sure. There's no team throughout another country that would probably take you, just depending on numbers. Where do you go? It'd be nice to, obviously, Sheffield's they're a championship team. Nottingham, any team. Coventry is. I talked to Paul Thompson a little bit over the weekend.
I was about to ask you about, because this is the big rumour that's been flying around most of the seasons. Obviously, that next year you have been looked at by one of the big 4. Did you go in there? Would you be interested in joining these teams?
Oh yeah, that's definitely, if something came across from one of the teams that definitely going to put a competitive team on the ice and treat you well, you're going to take a serious look at it. I had 4 or 5 people come up to me over the weekend and say, "Congrats! I heard you signed with Coventry." And no, I talked to Paul for a little bit on the weekend and talked to Shabbat, the assistant there. But, I got to talk to Thornton a little bit as well. He's just kind of asking what was going on. I don't know if there's really much interest there, but, maybe there's so many teams and they don't know what they're going to do for a while. So it might be a little while till things get settled down, and it'd be great to play in, Sheffield and Nottingham, Coventry. Wherever you end up, if you're in one of the top 6 in this league, you should be fine. So,
despite all these problems you've had here in Basingstoke this year, you would still be interested in playing in this country again next year?
Yeah. I think the league, people that run the league, maybe cater to the top 6 teams a little different than then they cater to the smaller fish, which is, you hate to see that, but on the other end, you want to be a part of it. If you want to be part of something, you want to be part of someone that's catered to. So I would definitely not rule out coming back to the Elite League. I think it's probably one of my only options. With how weak the dollar is right now, it's tough. And, without the significant other being able to find a job, which has even been a bigger hit in the pocketbook, it'll be interesting to see if things don't work out with a big team over here. That in this league, it'd probably be more beneficial for me to just go home and play over there, and she can teach and do what she wants to do. And maybe the dream of playing in Europe's over, but I came over here, I gave it a shot. I thought I played well at certain points in the year. I'd obviously like to have better numbers, but if big team would give me a decent offer, there's definitely take a serious consideration into it.
I'm almost shocked because you seem very sort of downbeat sort of about the opportunity of going back home. It's like, oh, I'll have to go back home. Surely, I mean, your figures, as we said, your stat percentages are fine for this country, more than fine for this country. So do you just think the North Americans would just look at you and think, it's not good enough? Or is that, have you been told it's just not good enough?
I don't know. I mean, I think I was definitely in the last 2 or 3 of the league with cool time. I mean, you want to be in the top, obviously, and be able to move on and move up the ladder. I wanted to use this year as a platform to get me into a position somewhere in Europe. And if I have to play another year here in this league, or 2 or 3 or whatever it is, maybe you find a place in this league you like and you stay and you play. It's just it's just a little disheartening with the year. You always come in with high expectations. I thought I'd come over here and do really well, and like I said, at certain points of the year, I thought I did do well, but that's more on a personal note. I think as a team, you want the team to win too. It was more embarrassing than anything around Basingstoke, or not being associated with Basingstoke, I guess you could say. You want to be proud of throwing that jacket on and walk around town and let people know that you're a winning product. You pursue excellence, and it just basically want to crawl in a hole and not go outside for the last 3 months of the season. But it is what it is, and hopefully next year will be a different total 180, I guess, from this season.
Well, let's finish this all off with, what would your message be to the Basingstoke fans who have supported you this year?
The fans have been absolutely unbelievable. I think for them to come in night and night out, especially in 2009 when things weren't going too well, and my heart goes out to them. I tip my hat to, we're still getting 1,000 people in the building, and we'd be down 3-0, and they're cheering louder than it was at the start of the game, which to me, even at the playoff weekend this weekend, I think there was over 100 fans up there, and we weren't even a part of it. So I just want to say thanks for always supporting me. I think I had a few of my own personal cheers too. They came up with me for. I don't know what your future holds. I think I sat at the awards banquet Friday night with the owners from Milton Keynes and the owner from Peterborough, and they were nervous with Basingstoke coming in the league. With the crowd support they have, they should have a good cash flow and be able to put a good product on the ice. Whether they do, it seems we'll see what happens. But there's so many people around the rink that you don't know. Like I mentioned before, with Skinsey, Al, and Caddy, and the Delaney family, the supporters club. Paul West has done huge things for me. Babby, our DJ, he's just a great guy. And there's so many people around the rink. You don't want to leave anybody out, but they're there night in, night out. They're trying to work on sponsorships. There's so many things going on behind the scenes that you're hoping that other people with management don't take for granted, because if they're not back there next year, the team could fall apart. And just want to say thanks, appreciate the support, and hopefully if I am in the UK, I'd definitely love to see you come see me play in another rink next year.
Well, Kevin, thank you very much for coming in this interview. All the best next year, and we seriously hope to see you on these shores again next year. It would be nice to see you.
Appreciate it.